I have been challenged to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge by my former friend and neighbor Karen Moss. The way the Ice Bucket Challenge works is when someone challenges you, you have 24 hours to either dump a bucket of ice water over your head and make a small donation to a charity benefiting ALS, or forego the dumping of the bucket of ice water over your head and make a large donation to a charity. I'm wicked broke after my divorce, so I pretty much got the ice bucket thing. I accused Karen Moss of not using very cold water in her video. I'm assuming I'm going to get a similar objection, so I'm going to show you the method I use to make my water icy cold. This is a 5-gallon bucket of ice. Yesterday afternoon I froze it in my freezer that freezes to 10 below. I have a video of me actually stomping on it. The water you see here is the condensation from the bucket thawing overnight, and you can see that there is some ice still left in the bucket. The bits of colored plastic you see floating on the top are water balloons that I had frozen a bunch of ice spheres that I was going to take on a fishing trip to keep the fish cold. So that's how I got the water down to such a low temperature so quickly. ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a terrible disease that strikes down people in the prime of their life. That's how Lou Gehrig lost his life. I know one individual who lost his life to it. I don't know him personally, but he was somebody I had a tremendous amount of respect for. His name was Scott Jakewith. He had Northwest Automation. I worked in a particle board mill where Scott had done a lot of the initial automation work, and it was a joy to come in behind him. I loved coming in and seeing his code and his documentation, and I had really looked forward to meeting him and having a few beers with him. Unfortunately, by the time I got to the particle board mill, he was already stricken with ALS, and I never did get a chance to meet him. It's a terrible disease, and I hope to find a cure for it. I hope to work toward a cure for it at least. So the people I'm going to challenge are Larry Garrison and Jeff Lane. They're both co-workers. Larry's a co-worker at the particle board mill, and Jeff was another person that knew Scott very well. Neither one of those guys are involved in social media, so they're going to have more than 24 hours to carry out the challenge. I also want to challenge some people from Helena. I'll challenge Kevin Phillips and Karsten Anderson, both. Sam Debris, I'm going to let you off the hook because of the whole chicken bricking incident, and after this we're going to call it even. From Flathead High School, I want to challenge Mark Ryan. I think Mark's kind of a pansy, and he's also a tightwad, so I bet he doesn't participate in this at all. And I'm also going to challenge Glenn Torgerson, who has way more sense than to dump a bucket of ice water over his head, and I'm going to assume is going to make a donation that will matter to ALS. I'm also going to challenge my own son, Mike Banzet, because he's a big-hearted guy and loves a challenge, and I'm sure he'll take this and run with it. So here we go. It's fairly early in the morning. It's about 7 o'clock a.m. Here in Port Angeles. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I figured what a better way to start my workday than to dump a bucket of ice water on my head. So here we go. Grabbing my bucket, and I'm going to proceed out to where the dreaded event will take place. Lovely bush there. I made a cool bracket that sits on my truck to hold the camera while I do this. And I'm hoping you can still see me. If I stand right in front of that fender, you'll be able to see me. I'm going to remove this last piece of ice, because that would have hurt. And here we go. If I die of a heart attack, then this video will serve to tell the people who find my body what happened to me. Oh.